Dimly he was conscious of a car door slamming, of engine noise, of a bumpy stop-start journey in what sounded like heavy traffic. And later, the grip was lifted out and he felt himself carried up. He could hear stairs being climbed and put down. The zip was unfastened. By now, Madison's head had cleared, and after a moment, he stuck it out. He was in a small bed sitting room, its door shut, its window curtained. The burglar was sitting on the bed regarding him, frowning to himself and rubbing his chin in thought. "I ought to have knocked you on the head," he said. Madison was tempted to say, "You did," but preserved silence. "Messed up my morning's work properly, you have. Still, I can easily pop back another day. There's some nice stuff there, and at least you ought to fetch a bob or two. Parrots are pricey birds, if I'm not mistaken, especially ones that have learned to say as many words as you have, which reminds me, don't start yelling any of that again, or you will cop it. Not that you understand a thing I'm saying." He stood up and walked to a table with a telephone on it. He dialed a number. Madison listened carefully. "Mr. Locke, please," said the burglar. "Mr. Ware here." There was a pause. "Hello, is that you, Johnny?" "Silver speaking." "Silver Ware. Wonder if you could do me a favour. I got a little item for sale, Johnny." "Not my usual line. It's a parrot. I just happened to pick up a parrot." Though he could not distinguish the words, Madison could hear the tone of surprise in the answering voice. "That's right," said Silver, "a parrot. And he's a good talker, and I thought to myself, old Johnny fences for all the burgers in town. Whatever their specialty, he's sure to know some guy in the bird business." "You do? Oh, that's great. Get him to give me a buzz, will you, Johnny? Thanks a million. I might have some nice stuff for you next week or so. Bye now." Silver Ware put the phone down, wrote with a silver pencil a name and address in a notebook, pulled from his waistcoat a silver pocket watch on a silver chain, and said thoughtfully, "Time for a little drink." He shot his cuffs to show their silver links, adjusted the silver pin in his tie, and made for the door. "Shan't be long," he said to Madison in passing. "If the phone rings, you can answer it." And he went out the door, chuckling at the thought. Chapter 9. After the door had closed, Madison waited until the footsteps had died away down the stairs, then came out of the grip. The window, he found by climbing up the curtains and peering between them, was firmly latched. He examined the fireplace. In it stood an electric fire of imitation logs, and behind this, screening the chimney, was a sheet of plasterboard. "To keep out the draught that comes down the chimney," thought Madison. "Keep up the draught that comes down the chimney," thought Madison. "And if draughts can come down, parrots can go up, I guess." Sorry, I didn't have an American accent for that bit. And he set to work on the plasterboard with his beak. Before long he had prized one edge of it away, and peering up, he could see to his joy a distant circle of sky above. At that moment, the phone rang. Backing out of the fireplace, Madison fluttered up on the table and picked up the receiver. "Hello," he said in the burglar's voice. "Silver Ware speaking." "Happy Wings Home for Birds here," said the caller. "Johnny Locke said to ring. You got what kind? African grey? Good talker?" "Good talker," said Madison. "Why, this bird knows words you never even heard of. This bird, though I say it myself, is the handsomest, most intelligent parrot in the world, bar none. Have you got him handy?" "Yes," said Madison. "Hang on a minute, I'll put him on the line." He waited 10 seconds, and then in a parrot's rasp he said, "God save the Queen! Rule Britannia! Land of hope and glory! You've got a face like a chicken's bum!" "See what I mean?" he said in Silver's voice. "What's he worth to you?" "I have to have a look at Deco at him first. Where are you?" "Wish I knew," said Madison to himself, and aloud, No, I'd sooner bring him over to you. Give me your address. The conversation finished. Madison was about to make for the fireplace in freedom when it occurred to him that he must not pass up this opportunity to let Harry know he was safe. He picked up the receiver again with one foot and dialed the Hodsworth number with the hook of his beak. The line was engaged. Madison glanced at a small silver carriage clock that stood on the bedside table. Mr. Ware had already been gone for 20 minutes. At least, thought Madison, I must repay his hospitality before I leave. He dialed again, this time 999. Which service do you require? Said the operator. Police. Presently a voice said, Police, what seems to be the trouble? I've been kidnapped, said Madison. I see, sir. Where are you speaking from? I don't know. You don't know where you are? No. What number are you speaking from? Madison read it off the dial. Well, we can soon trace that. Now, how about this kidnapping, sir? Who has kidnapped you? Listen, buddy, said Madison, and listen good. I'm kind of pushed for time. The guy who snatched me lives here. Trace this number and you'll find him. He's a small-time hoodlum, name of Silver Ware, and I guess you may find some interesting stuff here. And while you're about it, he might lead you to a receiver of stolen property called Johnny Locke. On top of that, if you're interested in valuable missing birds, try the Happy Wings home, and he recited the address. God of you, you have an American accent, sir, I think. Sure do, though to tell the truth, I'm African. I see, sir. You're a black American. Well, grey, actually. Could I have some more details, sir? You're tied up? No, free as a bird. You're locked in a room? No, the door's not locked. Why don't you open it? Can't reach the handle, Buster. I ain't tall enough. There was a pause, and when the policeman spoke again, there was an edge to his voice. Now look here, my friend, he said sharply. You're telling me that you're quite free and unharmed in a room whose door is not locked, but you're too short to reach the door handle? Suppose you tell me exactly how tall you are. Madison, by now, was tired of being questioned, nettled by the policeman's tone and anxious to go. Okay, buddy boy, he said. You asked for it. I'm 9 inches. At that moment, Madison heard a door close downstairs and then the sounds of footsteps climbing towards him. I gotta go, he said. Up the flipping chimney, I suppose, said the policeman sarcastically. You're dead right, mister, said Madison, and went.